So, throughout your career, you've created a lot of your own opportunities. What drove you to start doing that?
At the risk of sounding kind of infantile, I get bored quickly. I like having projects to do. And the older I get, the more I enjoy taking part in projects where I have a vested interest. I think that people get more passionate about something when it's something where they can have some kind of ownership of what they're doing. And when you create a project and you are behind the inception of it and the development and then the actual performance of it, there's something about that experience that becomes more exciting, more visceral. And when people get excited about their work, it creates audience. And the older I get, the less interested I am in doing what is prescribed to me. I like to do the prescribing myself. And I'm very fortunate because for the first 15 years, 20 years of my career, because I have developed, in some respects, I've developed a following and I've tried to do my very best in everything that I've done. It's given me the opportunity to create my own projects. And I'm very, very fortunate. None of this is just about me. It's about the people that I've worked with over the years, the people who've been my mentors, who are now I'm in partnership with, and it's something that's developed over a period of time. And I'm really, really fortunate to have worked with the people that I have throughout my career that have encouraged me to do this kind of work.
What's some of your favorite non traditional work that you've done as an artist?
Well, I think that some of the first stuff that I did that was off the beaten path for opera was doing more musical theater, which is something that I always had a drive to do from the time I was very young and still do. I adore singing musicals, and I think they're a very, very important part of our musical history. And I think that doing recital, moving into the cabaret world, has been a really wonderful thing, has become something really fantastic. When Craig Terry and I started working on the Kate Smith cabaret show that we did for many, many years, it started opening up a lot of doors in the cabaret world that I was very eager to walk through. And I adore doing cabaret. It's changed the way I do recital. I think that that's probably one of the most important things that I've learned is to make that kind of intimate contact with the audience. I really love it. For me, that's the most important thing. I love singing to individuals. I love singing in a big room, in a small room, it doesn't matter. I love seeing the audience and I love participating with them. And moving into a more drag cabaret world with my alter ego, dramatic tenor Blithely Oratonio, has been really wonderful. That's a journey we started a few years ago that I started with Martha Graham Cracker and John Jarbo and the Bearded Ladies Cabaret in conjunction with Philadelphia Opera. That's probably one of the things I look forward to doing the most, actually. I really, really love that character. I love being that person. I love allowing him to come out. I love allowing him to take the floor. It's really nice because he's me, you know. He's just a part of me that had only been seen by my bedroom mirror before, and now he's out there for all the world to see, and it's a lot of fun.
What led you to start doing these types of performances?
When I was in college, and I've written and talked about this quite a bit, I was an English major. I went to become a music educator, and then I kind of veered off and sort of lost myself for a little while and came back because I was studying writing. And one of the things I learned as a writer was that technique was the thing that set you free. And as a musician, I always saw technique as a thing that provided constraint and was something that was something you had to work on but wasn't particularly pleasant. And when I learned as a writer what the real function of technique was, everything changed for my singing. And technique became something in music that set me free. And I think that that was the beginning of everything. Or I think once Once young musicians realize the kind of joy and liberty that you have when you do that kind of development, it makes the whole process a lot different. And I think the rest of everything comes by virtue of who you meet when you meet them, the kind of work that you end up doing. Think of all careers as sort of being an algorithm. And we're really used to algorithms now, right? Because we're all in social media and the internet uses algorithms for everything. So if you spend time looking for a particular pair of shoes, every time you go onto Facebook, you're going to see an ad for that shoe. It's the same kind of thing with a career. If you work on something a lot for a particular time, all of a sudden things start appearing that will be affected by that, will open that door for you. It's just like plowing a field, right? If you get the field ready for seed, and then when you start planting, all of a sudden things start coming up. It's organic. As I've gotten older and I've met different people and I've gotten involved in different performance practices, everything now is kind of informing everything else. The opera changes because the cabaret is there, and the cabaret is different because the opera is there, and the recital is different because because drag is there, and you know what I mean. And all of that is continually fed and nourished by teaching. It's really quite lovely.
Why is this type of performance important to you and to the industry?
The work that I've done with John Jarbo has been some of the most important work of my career because John has given me permission and has given me tools to kind of explore an anima about myself that I've always wanted. Let's be honest. The operatic voice is exciting because it sits on the precipice of superhuman behavior. It's akin to watching an Olympic athlete. We may swim, but we're not all Michael Phelps. And you may sing, but we're not all Pavarotti. And there's a pressure that goes along with that that is exciting and wonderful and sometimes terrifying and horrible. And for me, the more important part of the process of singing is the rehearsal and and getting to know the audience. And in more intimate venues like recital or cabaret or drag, it's easier to do that. And that's why I've sort of glommed onto that because I really enjoy that. I love the development of a new show. I think it's wonderful. And what's great about the work that I've done with John is that it's all about development. It's all about writing and experimentation and improvisation, and it's really really freeing. And I think that it's soul feeding for me. I just had a conversation with a colleague of mine just the other day about the connection with the audience. And the notion of looking at the audience was positively terrifying to her. And not just to her, to to most of the singers that I work with, that I talk to. It's terrifying. And of course, in an opera, we don't worry about that. That fourth wall is natural and it's expected and prescribed. But if I'm singing in a concert, I have to make contact with the people that are there. It feeds you. And I think it feeds the experience and it feeds the music and it creates audience because it becomes a more personal act.
So, you're one of the co founders of Fall Island Vocal Arts Seminar. Tell us a little bit about Fall Island.
We started it in 2012. I started it with Carlene Graham, and we started it with Alan Lewis Smith. And Alan and I met at Tanglewood and became very, very close friends. Alan agreed to come on board and be the music director of Fall Island, and I'm the artistic director. And we team coach 6 singers and 3 pianists every year at the end of May for 1 full week. And we focus solely on American contemporary art song. only living composers. So we hear a lot of really great new music every summer. And we become more familiar with some of the names that are out there and have been writing for a while now, like Tom Chiapullo and John Musto and Juliana Hall, Ricky Ian Gordon, Jake Hagee, people who've been out there for a while, and also a lot of new voices, which is incredible. And we also have a spotlight composer during that week. So we have a concert, a sort of a Q&A with a composer that where we illuminate the questions with examples of their music so that all the fellows perform their music. Usually Alan and I will also do some of their music. And we also have 5 master classes, 3 of which are live streamed on Facebook and on the internet. Our fellows take part in a final concert. We also have a program that we call the Rep Devs. It's for repertoire development for teaching artists. So they come and we had 5 this year. They pay a small fee. They attend all of the private events, all of the public events, and they get 3 of their own events actually. And they're pianists, they're singers, people who are out there who are coaching, who are working in universities, in conservatories, and they come and it's a place for them to learn the new repertoire. So it's a really, really wonderful program, and we've been wildly successful and very, very happy. And we just had our 8th season.
Do you have any advice for our listeners?
They use the zoo metaphor many, many times for opera, for recital, for music in general. You know, a lion is a lion. A lion can't change. You change the atmosphere around the lion, right? You can change where they are and how you see them. But the actual animal is the animal, and you have to love it. And that's the way music is. We can change where we put it on, we can change how we dress it up, but the actual animal, we have to love it and recognize that it is wonderful as is and be part of what helps people to see it for just what it is. For me, it's a very important job. It's the crux of the job. It's really all that interests me right now. And teaching people and reaching people. That really is, that's what it's all about.